Morning, my name's Jordan and this is my father and I's 1924 Blackburn 350 grass track racer. It held the pre-war 350 record at Brands Hatch, so it was quite a fast bike back in the day. It has a Hartley tuned 350 overhead valve Blackburn engine with a Sturmey Archer 3-speed gearbox, and the gear ratio was designed for the track, so they're quite short gears. Later on it was had a Norton Dole's head added to it with a positive stop, so it was easier to ride. We've recently just had the engine rebuilt, which is why it's got nice gaskets and a nice new copper pipe on it, and it's pretty quick. Well, it was obviously quick because it held the 350 record at Brands Hatch, and it rides lovely. It's got a custom exhaust, which it's difficult to date the exhaust, but it was specifically built for the bike, and it's got all these lovely weld lines on it. The racing numbers are original to the bike, so it's a bit difficult to get information on it. It held the record pre-war, and then during the war and slightly later years it kind of goes a bit black, but then it was raced again in the 60s under the same number, and we've contacted the guy who ran it in the 60s, and it was quick then as well. So we've decided to keep the original racing numbers on it, and the bike's as original as we can make it. It's got the original Bakelite kill switch for when it was on the grass track. It's got the grass guard on it as well, and all the mud guards were specially built to give extra clearance for the knobbly tyres. And if you come around this side, it's got the aluminium chain guard and the grass guard on the front, and the foot peg, interestingly, is very high up because most of the grass tracks were clockwise, so you could get your foot higher up. And it did have a swing foot peg on the other side, but we took that off because it was a bit difficult to use. But the bike says in pretty good original condition. It's got a lovely AML GP carb on it as well, which helps give the bike the additional air it needs.
How long have you owned it?
Only about 2 years. We ran it for a good year, and then unfortunately we had a problem with the flywheel, which is why we had to have the engine rebuilt. But it did pretty well because most of the components were original components in it, so it did its time, which is nice. And we've just changed the handlebars for something a bit more flat. They had very wide flat tracker bars on it before, so we've changed the bars for something a little bit more period correct. But otherwise it's in pretty good condition. Yep, so the artwork on the bike tank is original. The tank and the oil tank are custom made as well. Because it was a grass track bike, it didn't need to hold vast amounts of either. So the fuel tank is a nice small light design, so you can get the bars round and you're not knocking on anything, and it's lighter, as well as the oil tank, and they match, and they've got this, you can see the lovely workmanship on it as well. It's not like a two-part where it's been welded together. It's a real piece of craftsmanship, and they match quite nicely as well with the all the brass on it and stuff. My father and I added the Made in England sticker on it just because we thought that would be quite nice as it's a British bike. But other than that, she's yeah, we don't know what the frame is, unfortunately. We're trying to identify that. It might possibly be a Rex Acme, but we're not 100% sure on that. But she's definitely a 1924 Blackburn 350 Hartley tuned engine.